and welcome to Galley Stories, stories of the Bering Sea and beyond, hosted by Mark Kaler. My name is Penka Jane, podcast deckhand and longtime listener. We'd thank you to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Here's today's catch.
Hello guys, and welcome back to another installment of Galley Stories, stories of the Bering Sea and beyond. I am your host, Mark Kaler. Today we've got quite a treat, actually. We've got the Salmon Sisters with us. Most of our listeners will know who they are because most of you are in the industry or connected to it. Some may not, but hopefully by the end of this interview you're going to know them very well. So we have Claire and Emma. How are you guys today?
Great. Thank you for having us, Mark. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, thanks for coming. You've listened to some of the episodes before, so you know what you're getting into. So let's start at the very beginning. Where were you guys born at?
Well, we were born, Claire was born in Juneau, and I was born in Wenatchee, Washington, but headed out to Alaska very soon after we were both born. So our parents bought a homestead in the Aleutian Islands near False Pass, and so I think we were probably weeks old when we were both carried out on the plane, the Pen airplane, and that's where we grew up.
Yeah, the homestead is right across from False Pass. It's like 3 miles by skiff, and my dad had been sailing in Southeast, and then my mom had to come up to work at a lodge. They met in Seattle, and he ended up out there one summer and fell in love with the Aleutians, and then they found the homestead in like a caretaker's gazette and decided to take a complete chance. Did it, moved out there, and then we were born shortly after. And our dad was set netting when we grew up as kids, and we spent a lot of time on the homestead with my mom, who was running the show there. And then eventually my dad started to drift, and that was our first kind of responsibility as crewmen. I mean, we would be sent out for a couple weeks at a time, and all we would do was like make brownies, pick fish, pick kelp, and just hang out. We'd get stuck, like left on tenders when the weather was really bad, and we would just stay on the south side for those summers. And then eventually when we were probably like 14, 15, that was our first like actual responsible stay until the end, until we had to go to school, and we would gill net with our dad and then longline for halibut after he was finished. And we did that all throughout until the end of college. We had that same routine. Like, we'd live in Homer in the winter. Eventually my parents gave up homeschooling. They're like, we've exceeded what we can do with you two, and we needed a little like more social, I don't know, in friends in general. And Homer was a good place where the majority of our peers were kids from the bush, from mostly like Bristol Bay, who eventually had come in to find a good place for their kids to go to school. Then we'd go out and fish. So that was kind of our routine. We would go to school in Homer, take the ferry out, be at the homestead all summer, fish with our dad, and nothing really changed throughout entire, like, paid for our college that way. Continued. Yeah, it was good. It was great.
Was it a great childhood being raised that way?
Yeah, it was awesome childhood. I mean, thinking back is pretty much the coolest way to grow up. It's so that being out in the Aleutians is so remote. Like, Claire and I had each other as friends. There were some young people in the village, but like, you know, we got across in the skiff when the weather was nice, but it was, you know, in the winter time sometimes that was like once a month. And so yeah, our family was really close just because kind of by nature we had to be and work together. And then the summers are just amazing out there. It's like such an abundant landscape, and we spent most of our time, before we were old enough to fish, we spent most of our time on the beach with our mom. So we would smoke, we had our subsistence net, and she would set it right out in front of the house. And so we'd, like, most days we'd go pick fish out of the net with her and then bring them back. And she had a big smokehouse, and so she learned how to smoke salmon from the Aleut people in the village. So we would pretty much spend the whole summer just putting up fish for the winter. And if we weren't doing that, we were working in the greenhouse because
just
we had
playing.
Just trying to grow stuff, trying to grow food.
What was your closest neighbor when you guys were growing up and on the homestead?
That would be in the village, like across the pass. And when we were there as kids, they were only around like 35 to 40 year-round residents, but the school was open, and going to school was the huge treat. Like when we got to get over there in the morning and get to go to class with everyone.
How did you get? You had to take a skiff.
Yeah,
right?
we took a skiff.
So was your dad running you to school every day and then picking you back up, or how did that
Once
work?
in a long while. Yeah, we had a Tolman skiff, like open, and we would go over when the weather was predicted to be nice, and then they'd get us up to school in like our 4-wheeler and be left there for the day. And then parents would take care of all their stuff in town, and then we'd grab us after school and we'd go home. And same for like, we get mail that often. All our groceries would come up from Seattle, like twice a year. My grandparents and the rest of my mom's family lives around the area and would shop for us and send it up. So yeah, a lot of time on the homestead, and town was definitely a big treat to go to.
Did that bring you guys closer because you had no other peers to play with, right?
Yeah,
Definitely.
and then working together from a young age, we were able to like have all the trust and all the skill to like do what we do now together. But definitely, my dad had a lot of very patient crewmen dealing with 2 like middle school and high school girls on board, and we would share like job mostly, and we were cut a lot of slack, both get super seasick, and would be like, one of you can go in and sleep, or like one of you can cook, and had like a few very, 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 to this day, like family friend peer crewmen who taught us everything we know, and we're never exactly like given a lot of special treatment due to like the area we were fishing. Like you were there for the whole time, or especially long lining. We were lucky we were able to like acquire a little bit of quota when we were younger, and so like knowing the responsibility of having to be there and finish out the season and all the things before school started. Yeah, we like learned so much so early on. And honestly, our crewman skills has not really advanced since we were like younger. Good.
What were some of the things you did for entertainment when it was just the 2 of you?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time we would just be like we'd go on a hike and pick berries when we were at home. In the summertime, that is what we do for fun still, but it's kind of best thing to do in the summer. Otherwise, just like hiking, going on walks.
Riding our bikes on boardwalks and the docks in town.
Doing art projects. We did a lot of art projects. I think, our parents had to keep us busy. We just play outside. We'd all be, winter days you get cooped up inside in a like pretty small house, and they'd just like, get outside, go entertain yourselves.
So not this past summer, but the previous summer I spent in Falls Pass.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And
So
yeah, it's a beautiful place, but everybody refers to the bear count as being more than the population of the town.
Yeah.
So was that ever a concern for you guys?
Yeah.
Every day.
Anywhere you would go outside the like just tiny perimeter of the homestead, my mom would carry a shotgun. And yeah, we always had dogs. Everyone was very bear aware. And yeah, there were problem bears, but like we're taken care of. And yeah, our mom is a very, very, very strong, independent, resilient person, and has had to deal with a lot while we are on the boat fishing, and our family's like always fishing, and so she was managing the homestead and keeping it up and doing everything. Yeah, there's a lot of bears, as you know.
Yeah.
Lots and
Right,
lots
yeah.
and lots of bears.
Part of daily life. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just a consideration at all times. So it's like,
Yeah.
well, like we have a smokehouse, but it's up on huge, 10-foot piling, or I don't know, 15-foot pilings, so that
creosote,
bears
yeah.
can't get to it. Or it's like you have fish around all the time, but you have to be really careful about leaving scraps out and just being really vigilant, because we've had some problem bears come through and like getting into the house, or just like, trying to, just making sure you're safe, because they don't, they're around, and when their cubs are with them, it's just not a great situation.
Yeah, a lot of us that haven't spent near as much time up there as you guys have had that bear encounter.
Yeah.
And can you give us a particular one that maybe scared the bejesus out of you?
Oh, well, one that stuck in my mind is that we were coming home from the village in the skiff, and and then there were bears on the beach in front of the homestead, which hadn't really happened, and it was odd to be the person who's like coming back to like that situation and not having like a firearm with you. And I just remember like, yeah, our dad like banging on the skiff a ton, and then we let like dogs out and like got them out, but mostly just being incredibly like thinking about it at all times, outside like the general house or our little front of beach. And that particular time I remember we had a box of chicks that we picked up at the post office, and like all of our little like homestead things, and there are these bears, and you're like, ugh, I just want to like
let's go home.
do my little our things. But yeah,
What was your favorite food?
Oh,
I think blueberries or just berries, salmon berries.
yeah.
That was special.
I loved
treat.
also octopus because it's kind of a fun. I mean, we would go down low tide. They would live under the rocks on the beach, and so it was always like a really special harvest. So you would, there's like certain rocks that they made as their homes, and so Claire and my mom and I would go down and look for them when the tide was low in the mornings. And when you found one, we wouldn't often take them home when we saw them. We just like to know that they were there. But then, once every couple months we would grab one and take it home, and they're just so amazing. And then we would usually make like octopus patties with them, or like octopus burgers, or like an octopus ceviche salad or something like that. And yeah, it's really fun to eat, fun food.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good, but definitely grew up on like box milk, canned green beans, fish, and then on the boat just like a rotation of, we knew how to make ramen, and we knew how to open a can of raviolis. Like, we could feed ourselves when everyone else was working, like being inside, just like doing our little thing.
So it sounds like you got to spend a lot of time with your parents.
Yeah,
How's that connection?
great. I definitely took it for granted. And now, as young adults, realizing how well we work together and know the communication needed, and how to do it as a family, and it's a special like dance, as we all know, like from fishing families, like how you need to, like, the end result has to happen, and then how do you work backwards from all of that. And now we are both married, and our husbands fish as part of like our family's fishing operation, and it has just been a lot of patience, a lot of layers on layers of learning how to do it with one another. But we're lucky we started from such an early age where we work well together. We work well with our parents, and our mom fished forever before we were big enough to go on the boat. So she understands like all of the roles, and yeah, our dad is a great fisherman, a great person, a great communicator. We understand, like, if he says one thing, we understand exactly what it means, or how to help, or how to like continue to like share that information with the rest of the crew, or like how to do it all pretty darn well.
So Dad's still fishing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the most recent thing we did together was in October. We were trying to catch the rest of our halibut. Emma got married in early September, or late September, which kind of like threw our whole fall off in the best way. But we couldn't catch all our fish before, so we had to go back out. And yeah, we just finally left the boat in King Cove like 2.5 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's long fall,
Yeah.
long summer.
But we've long line
Most
together.
people think at this point that you're running a very successful business, and forgetting the fact that you're spending all this time still on the water,
Yeah.
actively doing it.
Yeah, our routine hasn't changed since day one. We are fortunate. Like, the one kind of thing that has let us work and grow our business is that I have tendered for the last 5 summers in Prince William Sound instead of seining or gill netting. And so with the LTE service there, it's very easy to like run our business from our wheelhouse and with downtime tendering. And then Emma has seined for those last 5 years that we've had, like Salmon Sisters for our dad. And then this summer, moving back from Prince William Sound to the Aleutians, like Emma didn't have cell phone. I mean, other than like in reach or finding it at the mess hall somehow once in a while for like the entire summer, and we were able to continue to run the business. But then we longline every fall, but have number one, will not give up the fishing portions of the business. Will grow and morph around that and our availability.
And both of your husbands fish.
Yeah.
Correct.
And they fished when you met them.
No.
Or did you bring them into the business?
Yeah.
How did this work?
Claire, I met my husband Peter at the University of Vermont randomly. We were in the same dorm, and he's from a farm in Minnesota, and had never been on a boat. I mean, he might have been on a boat once, but he came up with us like the last summer before college, and then seined in Area M that year, and they caught like enough fish to put in a brailer bag. And he was like, "What is this?" But stuck with it, and it's his passion. He's on the boat probably around 300 days a year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, working with your dad?
No, he
Or-
runs our family's boat, the Halcyon now, and so we
Okay.
tender in the summer together at Prince William Sound, and then he runs it for cod most of the winter, and then does black cod and halibut
So
with them
from
too.
a Minnesota farm to
Yeah,
running a
he
boat.
knows how
And he
to
married
work.
into it.
Yeah, he puts us all to shame with
He
his work
does.
ethic. It's
It's
insane.
amazing.
And what about yours?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacob. I met Jacob when he had moved to Kodiak, but he's from Louisiana. So he, so he's been fishing since he got to Alaska. But I think right when we met, he had actually started. A friend of ours convinced him to go cod fishing with him, and he ended up on the same boat as Claire's husband, Peter.
Yeah.
And so they became friends, and that's kind of how we started seeing each other. And he's been cod fishing since then on the boat with Pete. So
And now has his own operation.
yeah,
so-
and we bought a gill netter in the Copper River in Prince William Sound last year, so that's what he does in the summers. So he's on the
Excellent.
boat a lot too. And then we spend some of the winter months in Seattle when we're not fishing. So that's good home base.
Well, she had said that you moved to back out to the Aleutians, or is that just temporary?
Yeah, Claire, Peter and I have a home in Alaska now, so we split our time. He's there a couple of days a year, honestly, on land. But it's been huge for our boat's crew rotation and just quality of life and having a home and being able to, we're having Christmas there with all of our crew this year. And that came from mainly realizing we wanted to live where we were fishing, and that is Peter's passion, and he's on the boat all year, and we missed the Aleutians because I live in Homer the rest of the year, and missed just having boats stream in and out in front of your window all day and knowing the weather and being part of it all. And it's a neat way that I can be part of their fishery in the winter by just being in the same spot.
So what happened to the farms or the homestead?
Yeah. Around 5 years ago, as we talked about, we moved to Prince William Sound. My dad was looking to retire, but looking for a new fishery, and he had not seined. And we had another boat that was going to tender, so we, as a family, moved there. And my parents sold the homestead to a couple who he's a contractor, and they're from actually South Carolina. But they are there now every summer, and bring a big group of people up and take care of the homestead and sport fish a lot around the area, and are involved in the village a little bit. And then it is empty and boarded up in the winters. So that has been 5 years of that at this point, and it is the worst driving through the pass and seeing it, but also
I was going to ask.
it's heartbreaking, but at the same time, it's incredible to be back out there. And you could talk a little bit about your summer, but it's good.
We were out there all summer seining, and it was it's hard. It's hard going through the pass and not being able to go tie up at the mooring buoy and go home for the night, take a sauna. It's man, that sounds so nice. But I mean, it's there, and it feels, it's so amazing to go through there and spend time there, because the landscape and the place is just, I think when our family goes back, just being out there feels like home. So the place itself, it's not just, it's nice to, it's also, I would say, we had such a fun summer out there because we were able to, we didn't go home every time we had a closure. We would go explore, we would go anchor up in different bays and try to get off the boat, and there's so much out there. It's so so wild and magical, and you feel like no one's seen it before. So
I have to imagine you guys have a huge collection of the Japanese glass ball.
Yeah, when we grew up gill netting, we'd go up to the north side later in the season and beachcombing up there. I mean, as everyone knows, it goes up to Togiak and all that. Those beaches, we'd take a 4-wheeler up and a little trailer and
crazy
incredible
stuff on the
beachcombing. Yeah. I know we haven't ever found a way to put them into something like a mural or anything, but we're the family that has cartons of them like outside our front
What's
door.
and you guys can Google what these are.
Yeah.
But what's the biggest one that you found, and was it
We've
netted?
never found a big one.
Oh.
Ever. We've only found the small, like that one.
Because
Yeah.
some of them are like really
Huge.
like a
Yep.
huge,
Yeah.
a foot in diameter. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we find the ones we always love to find are they're kind of oblong. They're like, look like little like water bottles, but they're
And then they have the two ends.
Two ends.
We've only
I
found a
don't know.
couple before, but
Yeah,
they're
so
special.
cool.
Different. They look like little rolling pins.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
are
Yeah.
special.
They're like-
So much history there.
Yeah.
So do you see yourselves, Emma and Claire, when it's time to have children? Do you see yourselves spending time
Yeah.
in remote Alaska with those kids?
Yeah, this is perfect time of year. Great. We're like starting to have those conversations, and we're very, very lucky that we have like our parents' support, and we know how to like fish camp life is like seasonal life, moving around Alaska. Fish camp kids is very like we know how to do that. I'm fortunate where like having kids tendering seems like a great situation, and then it will be interesting to see how our year-round fishing schedule changes with kids and what time is spent out in the Aleutians. Most likely the majority of the summer, and then deciding like school between we were homeschooled, and then eventually went to Homer for school, but how school will come into play with it all. But we were very, very fortunate with the upbringing we were given, and definitely would like to pass that on to the next generation. But it might be a little different just with being the next generation. Like having our parents have built their fishing business that we are now part of, and it'll be interesting to see what opportunity is available for the next generation.
Yeah, I mean, we had the coolest childhood out there, and thinking about doing that, I mean, we're the same age that our parents were when they moved out there, and it seems like that, like, it's kind of funny to think about because, like, it's a big risk, and you're leaving a lot of things behind. Like, you're leaving, you know, you have your fishing community out there, but there are not many people. You have, like, this amazing place to raise kids in. You know, your kids learn really valuable lessons about just, like, life. Like,
Well,
you know.
I imagine you guys learned to fillet
yeah.
fish pretty young.
Yeah, totally. That was definitely one of the skills you need to know. I just love the idea of having those, like, that be a priority, filleting a salmon. You know, that's a life skill that I find very important.
It is. You mentioned tendering life, and that would be perfect for kids. And Homer, do you guys know Cameron Hagen?
Yeah.
So he's that guy.
They are
Him
the
and Grace
perfect
are
example.
that guy.
His
Yeah.
Grace ran Salmon Sisters for 2 summers when we were out fishing, and she was home with our first babies, and she is a powerhouse. She ran the whole show. She did a phenomenal job, and no, they're doing it, and along with them, there are all these young Homer families who are just inspirational, and it's been really fun to watch. Like, okay, wow, holy cow. And we have a lot of young friends in Kodiak too, and just watching them raise families and in the Bay, you're just like, wow.
Their social
They're doing
media
it.
is super entertaining. I mean, they get such good pictures of those little kids.
Oh, man.
And the
You
kids
know.
are so cute.
Cutest kids on
The
Well,
cutest
one,
kids.
you know, I think one was filleting a salmon, or
Yeah.
at least looked like he, was filleting the salmon, blood all over, and maybe 2.5 years old.
Yeah,
You know.
totally.
So they pulled up into Knack, and here's these 3 kids all hanging in the window
Yeah.
of the wheelhouse, and
Yeah.
and they're doing it.
They're
So-
doing it.
And I think that in our industry, especially historically, that's the best way.
Yeah. No, our parents had so much patience. They did it with us, and we can rise to the occasion and create the environment needed to do it again. And it's exciting. Ready for the next challenge, kind of our chapter.
How about some fear that you've had when you've been out?
Often.
Yeah, well-
I mean, I would say so I think maybe that's the nice thing about growing up fishing with your family, is that you really understand either like where your captain's going to take you and what kind of conditions it will be in, and like understanding the person running the boat and what
trust in them.
yeah, like how to. I feel like that would be really difficult working for a new captain, just like understanding where their boundaries are, and so that you feel comfortable, or you have to prepare to not feel comfortable. So I think we've been lucky in that way, fishing with our families, that even if it's like terrible weather and we feel seasick, or we're out on the back deck and things don't look good, it's like you don't feel like your life's in danger.
No, you can't. That would be such a waste of energy.
Right.
And yeah, you're just like mitigate risks.
Yeah.
This is the reality. There's no stress or worry or like being scared. It's just like, well, okay, complete trust in them. We just need to make the situation work and do the work. And have always just like risen to the occasion. Have asked, but definitely working for our like husbands or dads, it's been like, oh, totally trust, great.
Yeah, I think where the fear comes in for me, at least, is thinking about like when my husband Jacob's out on the boat in the winter cod fishing, and knowing that they're in really shitty weather. And just not. I know that they don't tell us the bad parts, but it's it's just knowing that they're doing it and out there. I think it's worse. It's worse when it's someone you care about. I don't really think when we're in bad situations, we don't really care.
But when they're out there year round,
when it's you and you're dealing with it,
you're just getting through it. But
just a lot of trust and like it's hard when you're the one at home and like learn about. You don't really. It's not helpful to learn about the terrible situation. Like, you're diving. There's line in the wheel, and it's Christmas Day. Like, ooh, I'm so sorry. But, like, we have to continue to lead our lives. Yeah, exactly. Like you love this, and this is your choice. And we're lucky we have our business in the winter or year round to like pour our like creative energy into.
And there is a lot of creative energy there.
Yeah.
Does that come from the crafting that your mom had you doing when you were?
Oh, yeah.
That's where does this stem from?
That's a good point. I think our parents are really creative in their own ways. My mom had a little sewing business when she lived out in False Pass. She would buy huge reams of fleece and make like jackets and fleece pants for fishermen. She'd sell them in the Peter Pan stores. And then, like, just spending time out there, it was all about being creative, whether it's like fixing something is going wrong, being resourceful. And then when Claire and I were growing up, like our homeschool program was really just like draw a picture, paint these lupins on the hill. Like here's a fish, let's put some paint on it, make a t-shirt, that sort of thing. So that was always very normal for our lives. And then
downtime on the boat. Yeah. We have from, I think, just being kids on the boat and keeping yourself busy and having your little projects, or like knowing when your parents are working, like you're quote unquote working. Our friends, this is random, our friends from Kodiak were telling us that like their son is like 4 or 5 and they have him on the boat, and like when dad is working, like he is working, like he has a little project. And that was like, that's exactly how we were raised. And I think that is why Salmon Sisters exists in one way. It's just like the downtime. Once like responsibility on the boat is filled, we're just good at like making use of it, staying busy, or like using all of the surrounding, and creating something out of it. And I think we're very lucky that like growing up in the Aleutians and all those coastal communities, like what we think is the most beautiful and worthy to share, someone else might look at it and be like, oh, it's just like a pile of crab pots, or like a boat in King Cove that's been on the beach for 4 or 10 years, or like something like that. And I think just being in awe and have so much pride in the places has led to a lot of that just creative, like really wanting to share for the people who also identify with it and know how important it is.
Where do you see the future? It's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think we have always prioritized fishing because we love that, and it seems more and more important as we get older that like spending time on the water with people that we love is what we need to be doing with our time, and just feeling that connection to the place is really important. So wherever we fish, it just, I can't imagine a thing I'd rather be doing for work. Just being able to be on the water and understand where your food's coming from, and like working with your body outside is pretty much the most fulfilling thing I can think of. And then having that work also inspire another our business is just, it seems really natural and it's working really well. So, and to do it together is really amazing.
You guys seem to get along really well.
Yeah, we have very complementary skill sets.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot accomplish anything inside of our small business that Emma can. And so we have a lot of respect for, like, the
Right, same.
office, the differences, and kind of been able to divide and conquer. And I will contribute a lot of, like, our business's success to, we have just, like, duplicated one another. Like, have the same brain, same, like, gut reactions to things, like, values. So it's been very easy to, you don't even have to explain why. It's like, no.
So
Like, yes,
one of
we
you
wanna
has to have
pursue
the
that.
majority of the creative side.
Emma.
And the,
100%.
so Emma's got
Yeah.
that. That was quick.
Yeah.
Well, well, right, but I think Clair-They creative mind. It's just the
The design.
yeah,
element.
the products and the design.
people,
part.
stick
Exactly.
people.
Stick seagulls. You're like, ugh.
Yeah, that's what I love doing, and the part I can contribute to our business. Claire has pretty great business sense, and so I think our skills are very complementary. And we have an awesome team who helps us with all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been
And
great.
we've done all of the jobs. Like, we just started from the bottom and did it all. And so it's a pretty, people I think Salmon Sisters is a lot bigger than it is. Like, we have, including Emma and I, like 5 full-time people. And we're all throughout, it's all remote. And our team does a phenomenal job as we are gone in the summer, and like, we're learning to respect those boundaries of, like, no, you might be able to somehow get in the crow's nest and find service and send that one email, but, like, is it really, like, you can't do it all.
Let them take care of it.
Yeah, and honoring the time on the boat, and it might not be perfect, like, what was completed or said or done, or, like, what you would exactly do, but we've spent a lot of time together to try to, like, impart it's so hard, like, everything about our industry and values and why these things are so important and special to us, and so that we can be present on the water, because that's, like, the most amazing thing about commercial fishing, is that you can be present in your work and in these places with these people, and it's taken us a while to learn that. But yeah, our team is small and funny and good, and we're very fortunate that we've prioritized being in the boat.
Where was the inception? When did we decide?
Well,
We're talking about the business side.
sure.
It was sort of right after I was about to graduate from college. Emma's a year behind me, and I was just nervous about being done with school. And I'm through a business program, like, all of my peers were going to work for, like, their uncle's law firm or, like, their accounting, and we knew our personalities, like, we needed a project or something to do in the off season as we were just fishing in the summer. And then it was a funny timing where we had so much pride of, like, the place we were fishing in, our community, and didn't really have, like, a physical representation of that to, like, carry with you, like, on the dock or in the off season. And Emma was taking a screen print class, and she had, like, all of her artwork from the previous summer of different fish and different things, and then we just created one design for ourselves and, like, our immediate fishing community and the women in it, and then it just took off.
Yeah, we had there's, like, that Etsy website where you can put, make stuff and post whatever you have on there. At that point, it was, like, pretty arts and craftsy.
Yeah, it's like cards and one shirt.
So we had that at first, and people, we were just we had that rockfish design that we were just giving away for Christmas presents, and then people, just our, like, fishermen our age were really excited about having something to wear that represented what they caught or what they did, and kind of just took off really naturally. And once we felt that, that positive feedback, just started making more artwork that represented what we did and what people could be proud of and wear. And then it was like, oh, I was, in Machu Picchu, and I saw a girl wearing a mermaid
That's
tank
pretty
top,
cool.
and we were like, you must be from Alaska. So those stories were just like, what? Everyone's so proud to be a fisherman, and it was at the beginning just a really cool way to connect the community, and it's become a really cool platform to have women in the industry and young people just have a place to find each other, meet each other, and we're just proud to be part of the community. So
yeah, along with like the apparel, we started selling a little bit of fish, and then just the incredible response we got from people who wanted that direct connection, and just the premium product worked pretty naturally in tandem with the apparel, and we just learned as we went. We've made all the mistakes, still making them, but I think all the grit we've learned as young fishermen, it's small business, it's the same, it's easy. I think Salmon Sisters would have died year 1 or 2 if we didn't have the work ethic and just ability to persevere that we learned on the boat. Definitely. I mean, it's
from
a small,
your parents.
Yeah, 100%. The day-to-day grind there's so much risk. It's the same. It's just the only thing we can do is keep doing it and go back to our values and find inspiration and know that we're supporting this community. Without that, wouldn't be what it is today.
Sounds like fishing is the absolute top priority.
Yeah.
In raising your family in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you change anything?
It'd be nice if we didn't get seasick, but we found a solution.
You still get seasick?
Always. We wear those scopolamine patches.
It's not good.
It's not good. But we have for the last 4 or 5 years, and it has been a game changer.
Now, what is this?
They're those seasick
medicated patch
you wear behind your ear. They're
strong.
They're strong.
Claire, it says right on the package, don't cut them in half, and Claire and I often do because they're so strong. So it helps with the seasickness, but it also has, it's
What is
it comes with a list of side effects.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I put it on the fridge this summer because I was like,
May cause vomiting.
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I underline every single thing. This is affecting me, but memory loss is one.
Yeah,
of them.
memory loss is one of them. But no, they're great, and we're just super fortunate. We have had really, really good crew surrounding Emma and I, and who have been patient and excited about Salmon Sisters, who have helped us, and a lot of cousins who are coming up, and we've been able to involve people in both of our husbands' families, and super lucky. We have a big, good support system.
What size boat are you guys going out on?
Yeah,
Let's talk about that.
Our parents have 3 58-footers, so we...
Seiners?
Yeah, the name is Stanley K, which seines, and then the Oracle and the Halcyon tender, and then do whitefish in the winter. So we get to work on the Stanley K for halibut.
And salmon. I seine on the Stanley K in the summers.
Okay. And Emma runs skiff for them, and I the tender. I have the privilege to do fish tickets and our community and all the things, and we love it. It's fun. It's really
Where
fun.
are you tendering at?
In Prince William Sound.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It is so beautiful. You look up from your computer, or you're just wait, what? We get to work from here. Yeah. Very, very spoiled. Very fortunate.
Well, anybody that gets to work in Alaska is spoiled.
That's very true.
No matter what kind of a job you got, when you walk outside and you look.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Can't beat it.
I know. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
Any advice for young women that are looking to get into our industry? How do you suggest they start?
I guess if I think finding the right mentor is really important. We obviously had great parents who taught us a lot and are still teaching us a lot, but if you're not born into a fishing family, I think really important to find someone who you can just ask questions to. I know a lot of our friends who didn't grow up in fishing families who have found people. I'm just thinking of our friend Katie, who's run a set net site.
Katie Birch.
For 35
she is an incredibly
years.
powerful woman.
Right. Yes. And if anyone needs a mentor, they should seek her out. Just someone who's raised a family on the beach, set netting, someone who's a partner to a fisherman, someone who knows how to fish.
She runs that operation.
It's amazing. And
Tom
manages
goes out
a
and
crew.
trips.
Yeah. She's doing it all. She's got it. Yeah, Katie is incredible.
Just have a role model or find them. And I think those people really stand out in the industry. And even if you're new to the industry, if you ask any fisherman, they can point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
I mean,
We all know someone.
right.
Yeah.
Like I know Katie. I didn't know
Yeah.
you guys prior
Yeah.
to today,
Yeah.
but I know Katie.
Yeah.
Right.
We-
Exactly.
We know Cameron.
Yeah.
Our community is so small.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then just starting to gather the skills, like understanding if you, like, this is a profession and it is a job, like, maybe you could start, like, taking, like, hydraulics classes are offered at most community colleges, or, like, starting to take yourself seriously as a young professional in this industry, and you can start working towards, like, your, like, 100-ton license, like, learn the skill, find a mentor, and then maybe start, like, if in Alaska or in the Pacific Northwest, like, working for Fish and Game or the processing sector, or work administration in, like, an office. Like, you will start to learn, like, the culture and the contacts and the people, and I think, like, just starting from any, like, small route, you will be able to build it into, like, a possible opportunity to be on a boat. And you just need to work really hard, but also smart, and realize, like, you are in charge of your, like, this is silly, but destiny. Like, it's all the things are available to you. Just need to put it together. And there are a lot of young people, if you wanted to reach out to for help, they are there. People want to share and support and build this industry. And there is a neat opportunity in Juneau this coming year called the Alaska Young Fishermen Summit that is run by Sea Grant, and we have participated, and it is a phenomenal couple-day program with, like, banks will come, like, lenders, they will teach you how to be part of regulatory processes, like your trade groups, all of the things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then just look to, like, your, like, processors and people within the industry to learn. There's an incredible amount of information there, and you just need to start somewhere.
I like to find a mentor.
Yeah.
That's key, and find a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like we've talked a lot about business and not enough about personal. What would be your fondest memory of growing up in Alaska? Your fondest memory?
I would just say, not a specific memory, but just, like, summer days on our homestead where we would, our house was up on the hill, so you had to walk up a trail. Boats going through False Pass off to pass right by our house. So, and it's really, it's a narrow pass, and these big crab boats have to come through.
You can see the other side.
You see the other side, yeah. I have a very vivid, like, sensory memories of just being up there, having salmon on the grill, having fishermen come over, just, like, anchor their boats right in front of the house, come up for dinner, and everyone's, like, so happy to get off the boat, because most people who are salmon fishing out there in the summers don't have a place to get off the boat. So that was really a special part of having our homestead there, just having people, like, come up for a rhubarb pie, or come up and just, have some talk about fishing somewhere else.
Rhubarb pie, was rhubarb growing wild there?
Yeah.
Well, no.
We had
Or did
big
you?
patches.
Patches,
So,
yeah.
yeah. Right. And then just, ending the day with a sauna and down the beach and having bonfire. I think that's just, Alaskan summer for many people is just a really special time. But sharing that with your family and
Yeah.
it's
What
just
about
the best.
what about yours?
I think mine would be, like, when it's, like, the last day of a long line trip and you're finally, like, cleaning up for the final time, and just, like, heading in to deliver, and, like, usually at night, but, like, just birds around and rolling by, like, the Aleutians, like, heading into, like, Acton, Dutch King Cove, like, somewhere around there, just seeing, like, the lights of town, like, heading in, all of that, like, fish underneath, taken care of, perfect, just that, like, finishing up a trip. Yeah,
It's a good
safe.
feeling.
On your social media, I see a lot of times you guys are cooking.
Yeah.
So when is the cookbook coming out?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Oh wait, there is one?
There is one. It's coming soon.
That was
The
just
bookstores
that
near
was
you.
just wow.
Yeah.
I kind of expected it just because of the amount of pictures that you post of
Yeah.
cooking and
Yeah, we've been working on a cookbook.
Emma has been working on
Yeah.
this beautiful book for the last 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, 2 years. Books
Yeah.
take a long time to to make. But
because you got to cook it and eat it too.
Right, totally. Yeah, we're on our way. I think the book comes out first week of April.
Okay.
So not too far off. And we've written all the recipes are ones that we grew up cooking. So a lot of them were given to our mom and our parents from people in the village, or we learned, or
from other boats,
other fishermen.
Mess hall.
Yeah.
So is there rhubarb pie in there?
Yes.
There is.
Yeah. The rhubarb custard pie is.
What about the octopus?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we got something to look forward to.
And it's a beautiful. There's a lot of Emma's illustrations and photos of Alaska and the Aleutians in there. And then, like, for your final edit this summer, the company who we're working with, they're incredible. But they're like, she needs to turn this around quickly. And I'm like, well, okay. Emma is.
I haven't talked to her in 3 weeks.
She's like off Island,
No one's
and
heard
we
from her.
somehow got it. It got to Cold Bay, and then it somehow got on tender to Emma. You made the edits needed to this huge stack that was sent to you.
Yeah,
and
then
then
made
this
script hard
whole
copy.
ordeal of trying to find out how it never got out of False Pass, and it eventually did. And then over the radio, it's like, the book has left. The book is coming back.
I know.
So
That's exciting.
It
Yeah.
is. It's very exciting. I think it'll be really nice to have. Right, we really love cooking. That's something like we do all the time on the boat, and it's really a fun challenge on the boat to cook with what you have.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's just fish, but then you have to figure out how to keep people excited,
Make it taste different.
make it taste good. So yeah, they're fun recipes, and they're simple, and there's just mostly just seafood recipes, and if you have fresh fish, it's gonna taste good. So
Sure.
trying to help people just understand how simple it can be to eat wild fish.
Yeah.
Well, we should only be eating wild fish.
Yeah, it's the best kind. So yeah, it's gonna be great to have that book around, and can't wait to share it with people. It'll be really.
You want to give them your website for those that haven't?
Our website is aksalmonsisters.com, and the book will be on there in April. So, and we might do a launch party around Seattle and one in Alaska too. So
Excellent.
we'll keep you updated on
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
No, I just want to thank everyone. Like, you have created Salmon Sisters. Like, we're very lucky to be at the helm of it and like be able to create like the content or this beautiful book or sell fish and do everything. But you are the ones who are doing all of the hard work and keeping everything going. And just know that we understand like all the risk involved, and like just really appreciate everything this industry has given to us and want to give everything back. Yeah.
Anything to add?
Yeah. No, it's been a treat to be on this podcast too, and we really love listening to the stories of other fishermen. So, as Claire said, we are very inspired by our community, and it's things like this that help everyone connect to each other. So
Yeah, it is.
Really appreciate it.
You get passionate about
Yeah.
what you're doing. I mean, you guys will be 67. Number 67, or is it 68? 68. So it's an ongoing process, just like you guys have grown your business. Our listenership has grown the same way, but mostly it's organic.
Yeah.
It's from interviewing somebody who then their friends and family listen to it, and that's just how this grows.
Yeah.
So I totally get when you say we first made our arts and craft T-shirt,
Yeah.
and friends and family around us wanted it, and
Yeah.
that's where things start. But I thank you guys for taking the time to come down to the Gale today.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. This has been
Yeah,
great.
it has been wonderful. Thank you. And happy holidays to
Yeah.
you and all.
Everybody.
To everyone.
Okay, guys, it's been another installment of Galley Stories, and we've had the Salmon Sisters, who are great. And look up their website, look for that cookbook. And don't forget to like and share this episode. And we'll see you guys next time.